Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Storylines Explained. This time around I'll be talking about what happened in Resident Evil 2. I'll be referencing the remake in this video, but just to let you know, there are only slight differences between the original and the remake, which I'll be discussing a little bit towards the end of this video. Okay, so Resident Evil 2 takes place on September 29th, 1998, 3 months after Resident Evil 1. Leon Kennedy is a newly enlisted police officer in Raccoon City, which is located near the Arklay Mountains. Leon is heading towards the city when he meets Claire Redfield just outside of the city, who is looking there for her brother Chris Redfield. The Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS, which Chris is a member of's team base, is located at Raccoon City Police Department. This is why Claire is here, and she has no idea about his involvement with the mansion incident. They avoid becoming zombie munch and head into Raccoon City together, only to get separated once they arrive after an injured truck driver crashes into them, causing an explosion. They both head to the police department separately, where they meet Marvin Branner, who informs them that most of the police force and townspeople are now zombies. They navigate their way through the police department, fighting back zombies, crazy four-legged creatures called lickers, zombie dogs, and the world's best tyrant stalker, Mr. X, or the T-003. There's actually more than one of these guys that get dropped into Raccoon City, although the game doesn't reveal that. They're all controlled by Umbrella and are looking for samples of the G-Virus and witnesses to eliminate. Leon and Claire then discover a secret tunnel in the police department, which they head through and shortly after fight back a crazed unknown bioweapon. Leon then meets Ada Wong, who claims to be working with the FBI, and Claire meets William Birkin's daughter, Sharey Birkin, who gets kidnapped by the chief of police who is working with Umbrella. Leon meets a man who is being held in the police department's jail cells shortly before he is killed in front of him by the Mr. X tyrant. Ada then tells Leon that the man was her informant. Leon learns about Umbrella from Ada and how she is looking for a sample of the G-Virus in order to incriminate them in a case with the FBI. Leon and Ada travel through the sewers together. Leon blows up a big alligator, or at least in the remake he does. Ada gets shot at by Annette Birkin, but Leon takes the bullet. It knocks him the F out for a while, and Ada goes it alone. Ada then meets Annette Birkin, who just shot at them a moment ago, but is also an Umbrella scientist. She's also William Birkin's wife and Sharey Birkin's mother. Annette is hell-bent on stopping Ada from getting her hands on the G-Virus. The G-Virus, or just G for short, is a virus developed mainly by William Birkin. Subjects infected with this virus receive regenerative powers, so basically T-Virus creates decomposing bumbling zombies, the G-Virus creates regenerative mutant super beings. It's also worth noting at this point that William Birkin was intending to sell his work to the US military due to Umbrella not giving him the credit he felt he deserved. Annette then tries to burn Ada in a furnace. Ada escapes and gets knocked into a waste storage area by Annette and manages to get shanked in the leg during her fall and is unable to move. Leon then wakes up, goes through some crazy stuff in the sewers and finds a videotape that reveals a group of soldiers being attacked by the bioweapon he has already fought a couple of times. On the tape, he sees the soldiers getting destroyed and the bio creature consumes the other samples of the virus, although he does this kinda haphazardly, which leads the T-Virus, which had also been collected by the Umbrella team along with the G-Virus samples, to be spread by rats through the sewer system, which is how the outbreak began in Raccoon City, along with the creatures that were possibly still lurking around in the Arklay Mountains from the events of Resident Evil 0 and 1, which is located on the outskirts of the city. Leon pushes through the sewers for a short while longer, slaps around the bio creature with a crane, saves Ada, and uses a cable car to reach Umbrella's secret underground lab that was built for Birkin to further develop the G-Virus. Meanwhile, Claire rescues Sharey after being lured to the Raccoon City orphanage by Police Chief Irons. She then witnesses Irons die in front of her after being implanted with an embryo by the bio creature that her and Leon keep separately encountering. Sharey and Claire run into the sewers to escape and they are cornered by Mr. X. Luckily, the bio creature shows up, attacks Mr. X and saves them. The elevator they're standing in gets knocked down its shaft when the bio creature runs at them and Claire is knocked out from the fall. When Claire wakes up, Sharey is gone, but Annette is on the scene. Annette here reveals that the bio creature is, or at least used to be, William Birkin. Claire finds Sharey but can't reach her, and whilst trying to find a way to reach Sharey, she encounters mutated Birkin again. She beats up Birkin, finds her way to Sharey and talks to Annette again. Claire then learns how Sharey is also infected after William implants his embryo in her in order to reproduce. Turns out the G-Virus infected subject's best chance to reproduce is with a close genetic match, which is extremely gross, but it's just how the G-Virus people roll, I guess. Claire eventually reaches Sharey and also heads to the underground lab with her. In the lab, they fight their way through a greenhouse area full of plant monsters called ivies, and also find another videotape that shows William Birkin being attacked by a group of soldiers who are supposed to bring him in alive and acquire the samples of the G virus, but they end up filling him with bullets and just getting away with the samples. Claire acquires the cure for Sharey and then meets Annette again. Annette reveals that after being attacked by the soldiers we saw in the videotape, William injected himself with the G virus so that he could apprehend them. It turns out that the soldiers we have seen in the videotape evidence we found are sent in by Umbrella to capture William and acquire the samples. Shortly after, Annette is injured by Birkin and Claire has to slap around Birkin again. Leon gets a sample of the G virus for Ada but learns that she is not who she says she is from Annette. Annette tells Leon that Ada is aiming to sell the G virus to the highest bidder. Although if we're following canon, which is pretty tough when it comes to Resident Evil sometimes, Ada is actually working for Umbrella's rival company known as the Organization, who are shrouded in mystery. I'll come back to these guys a little later, but basically Ada is trying to get the G virus for them. Leon gets mad at Ada at the worst time possible after learning she's not who she says she is. Then if you're playing as Leon, Annette arrives on the scene, shoots Ada, then dies due to wife beating related injuries. Ada falls off of the side of a bridge in the lab, Leon catches her but she ultimately falls along with the G virus sample and Leon heads to escape. In the original Resident Evil 2, Ada dies differently but whatever, it's all the same. If you're playing as Claire, Annette catches up to Claire and again gets smacked around by Birkin, but doesn't die just yet as Claire sends her to use the cure on Sharey. Claire beats Birkin down and heads back to Annette and Sharey. Claire gets back to Sharey and Annette, Sharey is cured and Annette dies in front of them. Then a now cured Sharey and Claire leave to reach a nearby escape train. Leon reaches an elevator that leads to an exit but has to fight the Mr. X tyrant. As he is fighting the tyrant, Ada reveals to the camera but not Leon that she is still alive and kicks him a rocket launcher which he uses to splat Mr. X, so we know Ada is alive but Leon does not. Claire reaches the train she plans to escape on and activates it shortly before she is attacked by Birkin again. She sees him off with a minigun and then begins to leave on the train just as Leon is in the right place to be picked up. They then are attacked by Birkin one more time and they defeat him for good, so Claire and Leon along with Sharey Birkin can escape. Okay, that was a bit of a long one I know, and it's a bit different from the original. If there's anything that the remake differs on, it's the situation with Ada Wong. In both games, Sharey Birkin has a locket. In the remake, you use this locket to unlock the case in the lab that contains the G virus samples. In the original, Sherry's locket contains a G virus sample that Ada escapes with. Ada escapes the city with the aid of Albert Wesker, who is working with the mysterious organization we spoke about earlier. You may be confused as to how Wesker is still alive. Well, it turns out that Wesker was given a sample of a virus by Birkin that he used to survive his injuries from the Tyrant in Resident Evil 1. Ada actually keeps this sample whilst also gathering a G-virus infected tissue sample from William Birkin that she offers to the organization in exchange for her rescue before the city is destroyed. I guess she could have recovered the G-virus sample that goes over the bridge in the lab with her and still collected the Birkin tissue in the remake. Seeing as we've killed him several times, his tissue should be all over the place. There are some other slight differences between the original and the remake, like Mr. X only chases Leon in the original and Claire deals with Birkin for the most part, but the key points of the two games are more or less the same. So there's a quick recap of what happened in Resident Evil 2. Thank you all so much for watching. Next up in this series I'll be discussing what happened in Resident Evil 3, and when that's uploaded I'll get it linked at the end of this video, and you can also find the series playlist linked in the description. Until then, I'll try to link some more of my Resident Evil content if you'd like to check it out. Thanks for watching everyone, have a great day, and until next time, take it easy.